Me when my neighbour says hello to me.
There's no point in saying good morning, because it certainly is not one.
Me when I set out on my journey to discover my best self.
4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
And this is me when the person on the live chat at Amazon agrees to my return and refund and says, have a great day.
Finally, he didn't reply to my last message, and I didn't send another one. We just disappeared from each other's worlds.
Hello folks and welcome back to the show. So today, 3 underrated gems that very few people seem to sing the praises of, and there's maybe others from each brand that seem to get all the praise and talk, and why, I don't know. People do not focus on these gentlemanly, refined and sophisticated gems of fragrances. Before we do that, don't forget, if you are looking for fragrance samples, my recommended UK-based fragrance sampling site is fragrancesamplesuk.com, where my code MrSmelly10 gets you 10% off a really phenomenal array of fragrances, designer and niche. My recommended USA-based fragrance sampling site is the Fragrance Decant Boutique. That's decantboutique.com. The code MrSmelly10 works there as well for 10% off everything. An amazing range of fragrances, designer and niche. Okay, let's get into the video. So, we have 3 well-known brands for those of you who are into your fragrances, and 3 fragrances that just don't seem to get the recognition that they surely deserve. I think most of them I've mentioned at some point before on my channel, but they're not ones I bang on about all the time. So first one then, Chanel Pour Monsieur, the Eau de Parfum formula, the Eau de Parfum version. The original fragrance, Chanel Pour Monsieur, the Eau de Toilette, released way back in 1955, and it is a really beautiful citrus-leaning green chypre fragrance, very fresh, beautiful bergamot and lavender, quite light in its performance, but I still find it very enjoyable, and I find Chanel don't mess up their formulas, so you don't necessarily need to hunt out a vintage one. Anyhow, 2016 they released this Eau de Parfum flanker. There was another one called Concentré, and it's a bit of a long story, but anyway, 2016 we have this alternative, which is a richer, slightly darker cousin to the already amazing Eau de Toilette, but I think maybe even better. This is defined as a woody chypre, according to the lovely people at Fragrantica. Note listings, very simple: lemon, vanilla, lavender, nutmeg and vetiver. Now, if you love things like Creed's Bois de Portugal, if you love maybe Caron, what's the one? Caron Pour Homme? No, not Caron Pour Homme. Le Troisième Caron, that one. It has that kind of vibe. It's grown up, it's gentlemanly, there's a green freshness about it, lovely lavender, so almost a slight barbershop vibe, and this really kind of rich, woody, earthy, vetiver dry down. Absolutely classy, charismatic and refined stuff. I'm not saying it smells like exactly like Bois de Portugal, but it's kind of in that ballpark, and it costs a fraction of the price, although Chanel not cheap amongst designers. Really, really nice fragrance, really, really gentlemanly and refined stuff. Everyone I've showed this to and got to sample it really enjoys it. Of course, you've got Bleu de Chanel, of course, you've got Allure Homme Sport Extreme, and there are some really great modern smelling things from Chanel too, but this gentlemanly, old-fashioned, retro-smelling classic is an absolute beauty. So try it out. Don't miss out. Chanel Pour Monsieur Eau de Parfum. Right now, I'd like to remind you we have a great offer at Norton & Wilson. Gravitas Pour Homme is currently on a summer special offer. Only $90 posted in the USA or £70 posted in the UK. Don't miss out. Norton & Wilson linked down there in the description of this video. Next up, now, if you're talking about Maison Margiela, everyone goes on about Jazz Club, or everyone goes on about, what's the other one? I forgot. There are a couple of them that everybody likes, right? Maison Margiela, great, but By the Fireplace, that kind of thing, and they come up with these new ones. So they have this replica series, and I think it's a nice idea. They're supposed to replicate certain times and experiences in life, and I think each one has a city and a date that they refer to. And perhaps for some of you it's not the most exciting genre, but I really love At the Barbers, and this is supposed to conjure up images of Madrid 1992. Fragrance description on their rather nice little label there: shaving and leathery notes, and it's described as a male fragrance, which anyone can wear it, but I would tend to agree. This is a real, true barbershop gem. Note listing for this one, 2014 release, by the way, the perfumer Louise Turner: basil, black pepper, bitter orange, lavender, rosemary, geranium, white musk, moss, leather, and tonka bean. So it is like a beautiful shaving foam-esque fresh fragrance. I do think there are significant similarities with Chanel's Platinum Egoist. I'm not saying they copied that. I find it a little bit more refined. That one has a slightly metallic edge to it that not everyone likes. I quite like Platinum Egoist from Chanel, but a lot of people, it's their least favourite Chanel. I think this is kind of like it, but better. Reasonably priced, I find, amongst niche fragrances. Beautiful, dapper, gentlemanly, shaving foam, fresh dad smell kind of vibes. If you like things like the sadly discontinued Rive Gauche Pour Homme from YSL, and some of the other great barbershop gems that are hard to find, you know what, this one's probably right up there and maybe as good as any of them, and still, happily, last time I checked, in production. So check out At The Barbers. You know I love my barbershop fragrances, and I just don't include this one as often as I should in my videos. It's as good as anything I've got in that genre. At The Barbers, Margiela. Finally, the last one that I'm going to talk about, I have mentioned this before. Why don't people rave more often about Cologne Intense from Hubigant? I discovered this right around the time I started my channel. I was really inspired when I got a small sample that I thought this was just a classic. I love the bottle design, but I also love the smell. 2015 release. Luca Maffei is the perfumer. Sicilian lemon, that's my favourite kind of lemon. Sardinian lemon, forget it. Petitgrain, bergamot, neroli, tarragon, jasmine, pink pepper, lavender, mate tea, and incense. So the idea is that it's the citrus aromatic eau de cologne style, like Chanel eau de cologne, but enhanced, more intensified. And I think it kind of works in that way. It has this beautiful, I find like a honeyed lemon kind of thing, honey and lemon combination, a certain sweetness in there for me. Very, very fresh. And yet it has depth and complexity. This mate tea note is kind of, that's mate tea I can smell in the fragrance. No, I can't pick it up, but I think perhaps that's providing this rather subtly sophisticated and complex edge to a fragrance that is not as simple and straightforward and soapy as some of the classic eau de cologne style fragrances, and yet does have that overwhelmingly fresh and appealing, and yet with this one I find a certain masculine and classy and gentlemanly aura. Again, you know, all of these three great for when you're dressed up and maybe trying to put your best foot forward, which is what we should all do all the time. So 3 really great ones, 1 designer and 2 niche, both at the reasonably priced end of the niche world. So let me know what you think about that. Please subscribe if you've enjoyed the video and I'm a bit different to the other YouTubers. Remember, whatever you're doing in life, let's project, and although sometimes life really can stink, at least we can always smell good, right? Bye-bye. Posing for the thumbnail now, okay? Just you can leave now. Thanks.